So, Karen, we've talked about the 0 point in previous podcasts. I know you mention it in your work a lot. Can you explain here what exactly that is?
Yeah, I'm really happy you asked that because, as you've mentioned, like we've tangentially referred to it, we've talked about it, but we've never gone into an entire episode just on it. So that's why we're going to do this today. So I love that question. So the 0 point of space and time is a very specific point. It's when, as a shorthand, so people can remember it, it's when you're centered in your body in the present moment of linear time. So before I explain, it's very technical, okay? And if you guys don't understand it when I'm explaining it, it's okay. Just be in the resonance of what is happening and it will start to click in for you. I'm gonna go into the technical sort of explanation as I understand it now in a bit, but I wanna just talk about why it's so important, okay? So that people can sort of understand why they care about this. Okay, so when you are in the 0 point of space and time, the reason I talk about it so much is because it's huge in terms of affecting like a whole bunch of things. So the first thing that it does is that if you're centered in the 0 point of space and time, is you can hold your space better. So if you don't know what holding your space is, there's a whole episode, I think it's 121, called Steady As She Goes, Holding Your Space, which is about how to not let everyone else's emotions, urgencies, stresses, all that stuff come into you. Okay, so that you're not as buffeted about by that. Okay, so if you're not in the 0 point, especially if you're a big feeler like you or an empathic type, really, really hard to hold your space. Okay, so that's really important. The second thing is that it accelerates detox because you're centered in the present moment. If you're not in the 0 point, you can do detox, you will integrate, it'll just take you a little bit longer. So that's an important thing. The other thing, of course, is that it causes you to feel less anxious, to feel more centered, more stable, because you're centered in yourself. You're not as, like I said, impacted by other people's urgencies or stresses or agenda from media or things that happen in the world.
In your environment.
In your environment, yeah. You're much less
or the
affected by
conscious
that.
collective or whatever.
Exactly. So you don't pick up on all that stuff as
That's
much,
great.
which is really huge. The other thing is that it very much enhances your ability to create manifest. Now, that may not make sense to you right now. And when I explain the technical aspect of time and space, you'll understand why. Like that is so critical. Now, what's creation manifestation have to do with this? Well, you're creating your reality all the time, whether you're aware of it or not. Right? You really are. And what's running a lot of it is your distortion, right? So here you are trying to create something, and then your distortion patterns are getting in the way of what you want to create manifest. The more you're in your 0 point, the more able you are to influence your reality. The faster and better able you are to create manifest on the fly has to do with how high your frequency resonance is. Does that make sense? So you kind of need two things. But being in the 0 point really enables you, to the best of your ability, at whatever frequency level that you're at, to influence what you're experiencing